Greg, it's Christmas. Merry Christmas, Greg. And a Happy New Year.
Just roll the intro. Welcome to Passion of the Geeks, the show in which two friends and fellow geeks talk about geek and pop culture and everything else we enjoy. I'm Greg.
And I am Pat.
And let's get on with the show. Hello, Pat. It's been a while since our last recording together. How are you feeling today?
Well, hello, Greg. Yeah, it's been a while, but we were keeping busy, weren't we?
Yeah, very, very busy. Yeah.
Very busy indeed. So I'm glad that we're making this special episode today.
Yeah, it's kind of special in two ways. First of all, it's our first Christmas episode. So we're doing a Christmas special today because apparently if you're a podcast, you need to have a Christmas special. Later we'll talk a little bit about that. And it's also our 20th episode.
Ooh, 20 episodes. Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, it's 17 real ones, and we had 3 Passion of the Geeks unplugged so far. So yeah, that's 20. Quite proud of that, actually.
We're very proud.
Okay, but yeah, let's don't lose any time and let's start with the show because we have so many things to talk about today.
Oh, we have.
So, do you have any interesting news for us?
Yeah, for today, I just wanted to mention something very small. And that is Project Latte by Microsoft. This sounds like a tasty beverage, pseudo-Italian style, but it's actually a way to get your Android apps on Windows. And this is not the first time that Microsoft made such a project. The last one did very, very well, and they just canceled it because they feared that people might not be interested in making native Windows applications anymore if they could just port their Android applications to Windows. I don't think this will be the case. But, the theoretical idea to have any Android app out there running on your Windows without any hassle, that I think is worth the news. This does not mean that it will be completely hassle-free because, as usual with these kind of things, they won't incorporate any Google services. So apps that use Google services naturally won't work on Windows. They need to be ported in a way to use Bing, I guess. But I think it's interesting. Let's see if Microsoft will not cancel it this time. And I guess there are a lot of app developers that might benefit a lot from the option of not having to create a Windows application.
I mean, it doesn't sound that interesting to me because, I'm neither a Windows nor an Android user.
Yeah.
But it reminds me a lot of, what Apple is doing with their new M1 machines with Apple Silicon. Because apparently you can run iOS apps on those machines as well. So, yeah, seems to be the similar project here.
Yeah, I think because it works so well with Apple, I think they give it another chance. I do think there's a sort of competition thinking going on with that. And, I'm fine with that. You're in another system environment. It's not very interesting for you, but I guess there are a lot of people out there with Windows and Android, and I think it will be interesting to them.
Yeah. I assume that we have listeners on Windows and Android, actually, so
there
might
some
be
left,
something
yes.
there, might be that they're very, very interested in this. Okay. Project Latte, or Latte, or whatever.
Latte. Yeah. Yes. What about you, Greg?
I have 2 bits of news. They're not news exactly because, some of them have been a couple of weeks old, actually. The big thing was definitely Warner Brothers announcing that they're moving their entire slate for 2021 to streaming and theaters on the same day. Basically what they decided is that they would open their movies, if possible, in a theater, and on the same day they would release the movie on HBOmax as well. Okay. Obviously, on the one hand, it's kind of cool that they're having a plan to make their movies accessible again for next year, that they're actually trying to put out new content. But obviously, some filmmakers are quite unhappy with the decision because apparently they were not asked or informed of that decision beforehand. So basically, it's Denis Villeneuve finding out that his Dune movie is supposed to come out on the small screen together with everyone else. Yeah, let's just say he was not that happy. Christopher Nolan had a lot to say about that news as well. Also not happy. And it just seems a little bit weird to me that they would announce something like this without asking anyone. Yeah. So I'm not sure if that story will develop, but at this moment it looks like they're actually going through with this.
Okay.
Which it's okay to see those movies, but I mean, I'm not sure if they're killed movie theaters with this decision. I don't know whether or not they did that. And that would obviously be a shame.
No, that's actually a good point, yes. And I mean, they're very early, aren't they? I mean, we don't know how 21 will look like yet. So I think, isn't this a little bit early to decide this?
I mean, I don't know whether or not the pandemic is the only reason why they did it, or if they really want to support their streaming service as well. It's probably a little bit of both. And I mean, honestly, it's early, but I think at this point, it's fair to say that life in 2021 won't be completely back to normal like we were used to before the pandemic, obviously.
Probably, yes.
So this is weird news. On the other hand, there is some very, very interesting news coming from Marvel Comics or Disney, Sony or whatever. I mean, obviously Disney announced a whole bunch of Marvel, Star Wars and other projects, but we don't have time to get into that. But one piece of news or one movie that keeps getting more interesting by the minute is Spider-Man 3. I think at this point, every character in the Marvel universe is about to show up in Spider-Man 3, starting with many, many different Spider-Man. But honestly, my favorite, and I hope that he has a big role in it, Alfred Molina is supposed to return as Doc Ock for Spider-Man 3. And I don't know whether or not he's just one of those. I mean, there's so many characters, most of them have to be cameos. But I just hope that he's not one of those, because Doc Ock, my favorite villain from the Spider-Man movie so far. Spider-Man 2, probably one of the better live-action Spider-Man movies out there. Maybe even the best one. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock definitely played a big part in that success. So I'm really excited to see him return to that role. What about you? Are you excited about this as well?
Well, definitely. I mean, I first thought it might be some kind of prank or joke, Alfred Molina returning as Doc Ock. But with everything else happening with Spider-Man 3, it makes sense. It totally makes sense to have him back. And I'm really looking forward to Spider-Man 3. It sounds amazing. It will be a geek fest, I think.
Yeah. I mean, with everything else they announced and with everything else that it's supposed to be connected to, like Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness and everything, I think we're up for a few surprises in the next phase of Marvel movies.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, kind of we had to wait a whole year for the story to continue. Or I just hope that Black Widow comes out in 2021. But yeah, I'm just more excited than ever about the stories they're going to share with us there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to check this out. Do you have anything interesting for our listeners to check out this week?
I do. I actually have. I think we both have about the same things we want our listeners to check out, and I begin with the more obvious one because we've been talking so much in our different episodes about that game, and we were waiting for it, and now it's out. And of course, I'm talking about Cyberpunk 2077. It's out. I'm playing it on PC, and it's too early to give a review or anything. But so far, I can already say, I think this will be my personal Game of the Year 2020. I like it a lot. I do have some little gripes with it, and I hope they are patched out. But the writing, the characters, the atmosphere, I'm really, really flabbergasted what they managed to create. What about you, Greg?
I've been one of those people who played Cyberpunk 2077 on PS4. So I've been playing on PS4 for a week. And I mean, we have to mention the controversy at this point because, at the time of this recording, Sony has actually pulled Cyberpunk from the online store for the PS4 because, apparently for too many people, the game is not working properly. I have to admit, I played it for a week on PS4 and it was perfectly fine to play. Honestly, load times were fine, better than Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I had fewer bugs than Assassin's Creed Valhalla, at least kind of on the first few days. And yeah, I'm really enjoying the missions, the mission design, the stories, and the world a lot. Obviously, I'm looking forward to playing it on PS5. In other news, my PS5 arrived yesterday.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, and I think at some point we will do a spoiler-filled episode where we dive into Cyberpunk and talk about our experiences. But so far, the first week with it, I really enjoyed the game. And I'm looking forward to playing it more. And I'm sad that kind of the launch didn't go as smooth as expected. There were probably business decisions made in the background that were less than ideal, to put it nicely. But I just hope that the hard work that all the developers put into creating Cyberpunk 2077 will be rewarded in the end. And as you said, that we have a good game, a solid game that might be something worth considering for Game of the Year. Maybe not Game of the Year 2020, but maybe Game of the Year 2021 when it's working properly on kind of next gen consoles maybe.
Yeah, I mean, CD Projekt Red are even trying to help people get a refund. They're really behind their game and saying, hey, okay, you don't like it, we help you get a refund. If you give us another chance, somewhere down the road, somewhere down this year, we're happy to give it to you again. Yeah, as I said, I didn't have any problems at all. I have just, I would say, a middle-class PC. It runs fine, smooth. I do have a middle-class RTX card that can do the ray tracing, but it's just a 2070. It's no high-end card. And I've heard from people with much better systems that they really have a lot of trouble getting it to run smoothly. And I'm just playing and having a lot of fun. So I know that a lot of people are probably angry about this, and I can understand that. If you're waiting for a game and then it doesn't run, that's really, really disappointing. But there are a couple of patches now. If you tried it on first day and you had some troubles, why not try it again? A lot of people mentioned it's much better now. And if you want to do it a little bit later, there's a big patch coming in January and another one in February. Yeah, they're working on it. They're stand behind their game, and you can feel that they put their heart into the game. So yeah, I recommend trying it again at a later time if you had problems.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping that they're going to be able to deliver the game they want to deliver in the best possible version.
Yeah.
So after we finish recording this, I'm gonna go straight back to Cyberpunk, to Night City.
Me too.
Anything else you would like to mention?
Probably, but I let you go first.
Okay, well, yeah, obviously I've been playing Cyberpunk as well. While I was waiting for the patches of Cyberpunk to install, I've been playing around with a little game that's kind of flew under my radar for a while, called Hades. I have to admit, I think I've heard of it a couple of times, but never really bothered to have a look at it. And then, for some reason, I decided, okay, let's take the plunge. I downloaded it on my Switch, and I have to admit, I was just completely blown away by the game. For those few of you who don't know what Hades is, it's kind of like a roguelike game where your mission or your goal is to escape hell. And every time you die, you have to start again. But you dying is actually part of the story. And the way you dying is incorporated in the story. And it's basically you're expected to die. It's just a wonderful concept of a game. It makes kind of those roguelike. Sometimes in a roguelike, when you die and you start fresh, I kind of feel like, story-wise, you lose something there. But here they actually incorporated that into the story, and they're telling actually a quite interesting story of Greek gods and Hades, and kind of all these characters from Greek mythology. And it's just cool gameplay, interesting story, and I just really enjoy it. What about you? Have you played Hades before?
Yes, and that would have actually been my second check this out item. I played Hades on the PC, and I have to say I'm not a huge fan of roguelikes because, as you said, most of the roguelikes, they give you a character and then you die, and then most of the time you get a new character, a different character, and you start anew, and it's not like an entire story that is strung together. But Hades manages to have this story and this character you're really invested in by still having the typical roguelike elements in it, with the randomness of the dungeons you go through and the dying. And that makes the game, at least to me, much more accessible. Plus, it looks awesome. It's very stylish. The way it's animated, it just flows when you're playing. So I had a lot of fun with Hades. It's in the end, it's still a roguelike, and with that, there is a lot of repetition, always going through the same dungeons, and that is something that, in the long run, is not my cup of tea. But I don't care as long as it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and once the game is no longer fun, I just stop playing it. I have no intention of beating it, I don't know, 25 times or something. I've beaten it twice.
I think I've beaten it twice. I mean, I think you have to finish or kind of defeat Hades a couple of times to reach the true ending.
Yeah.
I think I've beaten him 5 times, I think.
I don't know how many times you need to beat him exactly. So I have not read anything about that, but I've beaten him twice and it was fun. I don't know if I will play it another time, but so far it was a lot of fun.
Okay, so yeah, from both of us, it seems like thumbs up for Hades.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in a very cool roguelike, Hades is definitely something for you. So you played on PC, I played on Switch, and yeah, works very fine.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we could obviously talk about many, many other things, but let's move on to our main topic, to our story of the week. As I mentioned before, this is supposed to be a little Christmas episode where we, talk about our feelings about Christmas, kind of Christmas media, movies, TV shows, or maybe even music that we enjoy. And I mean, let's start with movies, Pat.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Christmas movie?
Actually, I do have a couple of favorite Christmas movies. One that I always watch during Christmas season is, for example, Die Hard. And I think here we are at the point where we have to define what a Christmas movie actually is, but because Die Hard certainly is not a Christmas movie, isn't it?
I mean, there is this debate going on whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and I think some parts of the internet or some corners of the internet seem to have decided that, yeah, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I agree with you that just because it's set around Christmas does not make it a Christmas movie. Because if every movie that is just set at Christmas or that Christmas or has Christmas as a backdrop is a Christmas movie, I mean, basically every movie by Shane Black is a Christmas movie. Iron Man 3, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Nice Guys, or whatever. All of these movies are set at Christmas. What I think is a Christmas movie should be, and that's why Die Hard does not fit the bill for me, is it should kind of be connected story-wise or thematically with Christmas. And yeah, sorry, he's just there because there is a Christmas party, but that's it.
Yeah. And people saying Merry Christmas every now and then.
Yeah, okay.
No, as you said, a Christmas movie needs to have something Christmassy at its core in the terms of the premise or the morals or something have to be Christmassy. And Die Hard, well, it's a great movie, and I usually watch it during the Christmas season because somehow Christmas just reminds me that I should watch Die Hard again. But other than that, it really is not what I would consider a Christmas movie. It's a great movie. It's a superb movie, but it's not a Christmas movie. But to answer your question, one movie that I really like and that I think is a true Christmas movie is Love Actually. I think it's wonderful. All these little stories that, I mean, I would say they're not really connected. They're just at the same place in the end. But all these little stories that kind of, each of them has a little way that just brings the thought of Christmas closer to you. And I think it's such a wonderful movie. Do you like it?
I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, on the one hand, yeah, I see where you're going with it. And yeah, it's 10 little romantic comedies with a beginning, a middle, and an end, kind of put together as one movie.
Yeah.
And some of these stories are fine. Okay. Some of these stories are a little bit problematic.
Okay, that's true, yes.
I mean, I would actually argue there are some stories in there that are quite nice. Some of the stories, are borderline sex crimes, but
yeah.
And that's another discussion. But it's definitely a movie that tries to sell that holiday spirit. It's definitely kind of, Christmas, love, getting together, things like that. I mean, that definitely fits the bill, and I would agree that it's a true Christmas movie. I have to admit, I'm generally speaking not the biggest fan of holiday themed content, because it's most of the time I just find it annoying. And I mean, there are movies with a Christmas setting that are connected to the holidays that I enjoy as well, but I don't specifically seek them out. And for example, for me, when I think Christmas movies, it's more like movies I like to watch during Christmas time, or kind of movies that I like to watch at the end of the year. So for example, Lord of the Rings is kind of a little bit of a Christmas movie for me, because from time to time at the end of a year, I revisit those movies. Or Back to the Future is another one that I revisit at the end of the year. And so for me, those movies I associate with that holiday vacation time, and not so specifically holiday themed movies.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's true for a lot of people. Especially, I think Lord of the Rings is something that a lot of people just watch during Christmas time, during the Christmas season, because then they have time to actually watch it. I mean, it's a time commitment you have to make, and so it becomes a sort of a tradition, and I think that is more important than just having some Christmas themed movie to watch just because it's Christmas. To have your own traditions that make sense to you for whatever reason. And that is actually more Christmassy, I think, than a lot of these so-called Christmas movies that are currently broadcasted in a staccato rhythm.
And it's interesting that you mentioned traditions, because I don't want to come across as the Grinch or something. But for me, the holidays, I really love the social aspect of the Christmas holiday, kind of coming together with the family, having a good meal, kind of enjoying each other's company. But everything else, I kind of dislike, and I just accept it, because apparently some people are more chill if there is a tree in their living room. Okay, if that calms you down, be my guest. But for me, it's I just think it's a kind of all those Christmas decorations and everything. It's a little bit unnecessary. Can we just get together and eat a lot of food?
Well, actually, to be completely honest, I feel the same. I know, in our intro, I was kind of happy about Christmas, but it was just an act. No, I'm really with you there. You know, a lot of people think that Christmas has been commercialized and everything. And yeah, sure. But this is true for all the holidays out there. In every holiday, someone finds some way to make money, and that's just the way it is. But I mean, the Christmassy thing is doing something with your family, with your loved ones. As you said, eating together, spending time together, visiting each other. And that is a wonderful thing about Christmas. Through all the toy factories and turkey factories that are kind of making money with Christmas, I mean, you don't buy presents for someone you don't like. You don't spend time making a great Christmas dinner for people you don't like. Like you, I would be completely happy if we wouldn't have a Christmas tree because it's just a fire hazard, nothing else. But the thing is, I have children, and seeing their eyes lighting up at Christmas Eve when they see the tree and everything, this this is something that is really great, and it makes buying the damn tree and putting it into my living room worth it. Yeah, I'm not huge in decorations and stuff. This is more the job my wife has to do. And yeah, so I'm completely with you there.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, any other Christmas movies or holiday themed movies that you like to watch or would recommend?
Well, there is a Christmas movie I really like, and that one is Home Alone, especially the first one, the first Home Alone. And the thing is, watching it with my kids is a lot of fun because, I mean, there are Christmas things in there, but at one point the movie becomes this live action Tom and Jerry cartoon. And watching this with kids laughing out loud is so much fun. And there's still a Christmas message in there. And yeah, I really enjoy Home Alone, especially the first one. I mean, the second one isn't that bad, and it has Tim Curry in it, which is always a plus. But yeah, especially the first one, Home Alone.
I mean, I completely agree. Home Alone, especially the first one, it's a pretty good movie. It's fun. And yeah, you described it beautifully as a live action Tom and Jerry cartoon in the middle. And it's definitely holiday themed. It's about, Kevin being alone and his mother trying everything to come back home to just be together with her family or with her son on Christmas. So it's definitely a movie that I would say is good all over the year. But around Christmas time makes even more sense to watch it. And honestly, a really good soundtrack by John Williams that captures holiday spirit in a way that is not totally obnoxious. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Home Alone, definitely a Christmas movie worth watching. Any other honorable mentions on there?
Well, before I get to my honorable mentions, I just want to mention two movies very quickly that my wife loves immensely. The first one is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And I like that a lot. I mean, it's a classic. And the other one, I don't actually agree with my wife, but it's Christmas with the Cranks, which is kind of an inverse Christmas movie that halfway through gets a normal Christmas movie again. It's okay. It has Tim Allen in it, and I kind of like Tim Allen. He does his usual Tim Allen stuff, and then he works perfectly. And yeah, Christmas with the Cranks. Have you seen the Christmas with the Cranks and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
I've obviously seen National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and I mean, it can be considered a classic comedy, actually.
Yeah.
But I would actually argue it's one of those movies. It's set at Christmas, and obviously the family holiday has this little Christmas aspect. But even without Christmas, it would just be a hilarious movie.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I haven't seen Christmas with the Cranks. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say you missed a lot. It's not that bad. My wife loved that movie, and so I'm occasionally forced to watch it with her.
I mean, that's always, I mean, if there's something she loves, I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So let's get to our honorable mentions, shall we? There are two I want to mention. The first one is Gremlins. And this again falls in the category where, like Die Hard, is it a Christmas movie or is it not?
I mean, when I think Christmas movie, I don't really think of Gremlins. Maybe Gremlins 2 a little bit more than Gremlins 1, honestly.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just a decent movie again. And I think for me, that's more important than the theme, whether or not it's a good movie. And Gremlins is definitely one of those movies that maybe has this end of the year vibe that makes you revisit it at the end of the year around Christmas time. But I would not specifically consider it a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I mean, when I kind of just to borrow from your list, for example, you also have Edward Scissorhands on your list.
Yeah.
And it's very similar there. I don't consider Edward Scissorhands a holiday movie. But obviously there is this snow aspect to it, this the other storytelling aspect that kind of think happens around the end of the year, or at least in winter, that plays a little bit into that holiday spirit. But it's just a really good movie, so why not revisit it at the end of the year as well?
Yeah.
So, and I would say that's true for Gremlins as well.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. But let me just very quickly go to my last honorable mention, which is a movie I like a lot. I just kind of feel it's more of a Halloween movie, and that is, of course, Nightmare Before Christmas.
You're totally wrong. Nightmare Before Christmas is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And I don't care what Tim Burton says. I think he considers it more of a Halloween movie as well. But I think Night Before Christmas, all the songs in there, the themes, the ideas, and kind of what the whole story is actually about, to me, that's the true spirit of Christmas, actually. So kind of all the movies we mentioned so far, I would actually say that Night Before Christmas is probably my favorite Christmas movie.
Well, it is certainly one of the best movies we have mentioned right now. It has a very, very special way how it presents itself. And I totally agree with you. The songs and everything, the story, it's more of a Christmas movie than of a Halloween movie, because everything captures the spirit of Christmas. It's just, I personally always watch it during Halloween. And so it has kind of made this connection to Halloween instead of Christmas. But if you look at it neutrally, you're totally right.
I mean, I would actually argue that Night Before Christmas is, for me, it's one of those movies that I can watch all year round. Because it is gorgeous,
yeah.
The songs are cool, and it's just a great movie. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely put that very, very high on my list. Yeah. Maybe one other thing I would like to mention is, back when I was little, one tradition we have in our family was to go to the movie theater while Mom was kind of decorating the tree. So kind of my first memories of actually going to a movie theater and watching a movie happened around Christmas time as well. So yeah, part of me associates Christmas time with movie going anyway. And the first movie I ever saw in theaters was around Christmas, and it was An American Tail, the Don Bluth animated movie. And I've just recently rewatched it with my young students in school, and it's just a wonderful movie. Again, it's more a movie that I associate with the holidays because it was the first time I watched it, and kind of the thematic ideas of family are in there as well. But it's just a wonderful movie to watch with kids around Christmas time. So if anyone hasn't seen An American Tail, definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good one. It's a really great movie.
Yeah, it's a really good one. Okay, so, I mean, there are other Christmas movies, or one Christmas movie in specifically that we haven't talked about, but let's use that as kind of a segue to Christmas TV specials. Because there is one kind of famous Christmas story that has been adapted many, many times, either for TV or for movies. And obviously we're talking about Charles Dickens' The Christmas Carol.
Yes.
I assume that most people are familiar with The Christmas Carol. If you're not familiar with the title, it's that story with the three ghosts. And as soon as you say that, even people around here are usually familiar with it. Obviously, it's a little bit bigger in the Anglo-Saxon world than it is here in continental Europe, I would argue. Do you have a favorite adaptation of The Christmas Carol?
Yeah, I probably would say my favorite adaptation of The Christmas Carol would be the Muppets version. I just love. I mean, I basically love everything with the Muppets, but the directing, the way that they incorporate Muppets into the story and the songs, it's just such a great way to tell the story. Plus, Michael Caine is fantastic.
I mean, Michael Caine as Scrooge, great casting. Gonzo as Charles Dickens, hilarious. And
it's so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Muppet movie. It has cool songs. It's just a joy to watch.
Yeah. And I especially like the very first song about Scrooge. It's such a fun song, but where they describe him. Yeah. It's so great.
Yeah, it's so kind of, even though I mention it again, not the biggest Christmas fan, but I'm a fan of Muppet Christmas Carol.
Indeed.
Definitely worth checking out as well. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the Muppets have a lot of different Christmas movies, but the Muppets Christmas Carol is definitely the best one.
Definitely it is, talking about Christmas Carol adaptations, my favorite adaptation, and I think it's fitting that's my favorite, is actually the Blackadder Christmas Carol.
Oh yeah, that one is fun.
Have you ever seen the Blackadder Christmas Carol?
Yeah, it's a classic.
It's a classic, and kind of for those who have never heard of it, well, first of all, you should definitely check it out. So Blackadder with Rowan Atkinson, the beloved British comedy show, actually. They did a Christmas special where they adapted Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol. And what they did is Rowan Atkinson plays Ebenezer Blackadder. And he's a really, really nice guy who shares his fortune, or kind of his what little thing he has of his fortune. He shares with everyone. And but he gets visited by a ghost anyway. But the ghost says, no, you're a good person. I don't need to show you these things. But Blackadder wants to see them as well. And what happens is that because Blackadder sees kind of, what happens to him or what would happen to him if he were a bad person, he decides to become a bad person. And I just love that they reversed the whole idea of the Christmas Carol.
Yes.
And obviously it's kind of misanthropic, and I mean, Blackadder is definitely not a good person, but it's so fun, and kind of, I just love Baldric and how stupid he is. And obviously, kind of the joke in the end is that Blackadder would have been rewarded for being a good guy, but he became a bad guy just a little bit too early. So I just love, it just makes me laugh. It just makes me laugh.
Yeah, honestly, just thinking about that episode, I cannot stop laughing just from my memory. So I really need to rewatch that.
Yeah, and kind of especially the future that the ghost shows him. It's so hilarious with Miranda Richardson, Stephen Fry, Hugh Laurie, and Rowan Atkinson and Tony Robinson. I mean, the costumes are awesome. The way the way they speak, it's that scene alone is just hilarious.
Now I need to rewatch it. Well, Blackadder, I mean, it's a great show. Anyway, so if anyone in our audience hasn't watched it, go watch it. It's worth it.
It's definitely worth it, yeah. Any other TV show Christmas special that you think are worth mentioning here?
If I think about TV Christmas specials, there are a lot of sitcoms that come to mind that actually use Christmas Carol in some funny way or not so funny way. But Actually, the first thing I was thinking about was Friends, the TV series. And they had a Christmas special. I don't know if it could be considered a Christmas special, called the one with the Christmas armadillo, I think, if I remember correctly. And it's just an hilarious episode. I don't know if it can be considered a Christmas special, but it's definitely a Christmassy theme with it. Plus, Friends is a good show.
Yeah, Friends definitely had its moments. Yeah, definitely. I always found it weird when a TV show did a Christmas episode, and because kind of the programming guys here completely botched the order, that you saw a Christmas episode in May or in June or something.
Yeah.
I always found that hilarious. And I'm actually wondering how kind of, the move to streaming and binge watching and dropping a season of television all on one day is going to affect this whole idea of Christmas specials. Because, if you drop your whole show in September, you probably don't need a Christmas episode. Mm-hmm. And some of these Christmas episodes obviously have good stories as well. But sometimes it was just, we need to do something, a Christmas plot. And I would actually argue that rarely these Christmas episodes are the best episodes of these shows.
Yeah, I totally agree. There are a lot of Christmas special or Christmas themed shows, episodes that I remember that they were there, but they didn't stick. They didn't have anything that actually made them outstanding.
Yeah. For example, one thing kind of random thing I remember is I think the TV show The OC had regular Christmas episodes, and I honestly remember them as actually being fun. Yeah, they kind of the one thing they did, one of the characters created his own holiday, a mix between Christmas and Hanukkah, and he called it Christmaka. And actually, that was fine. That was cool. Obviously, kind of invented holidays, kind of have a long-standing tradition. Actually, I think the best Christmas special that I kind of remember, or kind of the Christmas special that I like to revisit, are usually the Doctor Who Christmas specials. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And obviously not all of them are equally good, but kind of some of these episodes are kind of special episodes because something special happens. Either an old doctor or kind of the doctor dies, or a new doctor has his first episode. For example, I think David Tennant had his first episode as a Christmas special, the Christmas Invasion, a two-parter. And I've always liked those episodes, and I particularly liked about those episodes that they were actually shown around Christmas. I think usually on the 25th or the 26th or something as well. Mm. So they really went all in with that holiday spirit.
Yeah. Plus, they were really good episodes.
They were really good episodes. Yeah. They were really good episodes. Yeah. Anything else you would like to mention when it comes to Christmas on the screen before we move on to kind of our last topic, Christmas music? Yeah,
there are a couple of Christmas specials that I think are good, maybe for the wrong reasons. But speaking of Rowan Atkinson, I like the Merry Christmas, Mr. Bean episode. I don't know if it could be considered a Christmas special because, Mr. Bean wasn't a show that had fixed airing dates, if I remember correctly. But I'm not really sure about that.
I don't know.
But it's fun. Also, I like that episode of Seinfeld where George's father comes with that Festivus, as you said, and again, a show with an invented holiday. And Festivus was just a way to not have fun because it just, instead of a tree, they just put up an aluminum pole. And it's just such a hilarious episode. Kind of inverted Christmas special with the Festivus episode. But yeah, some of them are really good, especially if there is chaos involved. So I always like that.
I mean, speaking of invented holidays and chaos, I mean, we briefly have to talk about the Star Wars Holiday Special and Life Day. And I mean, by briefly, I mean, yeah, we have both seen the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much everything you can say about it.
I just want to say, Life Day isn't a bad idea in the sense of, oh, come on, we want to make a Christmas special, but we're in a galaxy far away. There is no Christmas, so we need something else that sounds about as important as Christmas is to people. So Life Day, nice invention. But what they did with it, it has been years when I saw it the last time, or the first and last time, because I'm never watching it again.
Me neither.
It's just so boring. It's atrocious, really.
Yeah, it's atrocious. So, Star Wars Holiday Special, definitely one part of Star Wars that it's okay to forget.
Yeah.
Kind of in other news, Disney announced Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, written and directed by James Gunn. And I just hope that the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special becomes the holiday special that the Star Wars holiday special never was.
At least I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm too. I'm very excited about that. Yeah. Almost as much as the third Guardians movie. Almost as much. Almost as much. Yeah.
I really wonder what they're going to do with it. Yeah.
Okay, so we're already running a little bit long, so let's briefly talk about some Christmas music.
Oh God, Christmas music.
Oh God, Christmas music. Well, I can actually be very quick about this. I don't like Christmas music. If Christmas music were any good, one would listen to it all over the year. And for some reason, it's music that you only listen to in a very brief period of time. So these songs can't be that good. That being said, the only Christmassy music I can kind of accept is, the Home Alone soundtrack is okay. Or a Charlie Brown Christmas by Vince Guaraldi Trio.
Yeah.
Everything else, sorry, it makes me aggressive. And if you really want to push my buttons, you play Last Christmas. That's the one song I basically turn into the Hulk whenever I hear that song. I just can't stand that song. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm quite indifferent towards George Michael and everything, but that song, it just pushes my buttons. Yeah. What about you? Kind of after this little rant about Christmas music, are you afraid to share some of your favorites with me?
No, I'm not. I'm strong enough. But
we're recording this over Skype, so I can't punch you directly.
Yeah, it's just if Greg suddenly disconnects, you know why. The thing is, I think the problem with Christmas music is that it's so much concentrated within that pretty small window of a year, that is a couple of weeks, and they get repeated over and over and over again. So they're bound to suck at one point. It's like listening to the same song over again. At one point, you just get sick of it. But there are songs that doesn't happen. But just an ordinary song, you have heard that enough. And probably one of the things that makes Last Christmas so annoying is because you hear it all the time. I don't understand it. Everyone is playing Last Christmas, as if the whole world would say, okay, look, here is this song that arguably no one likes. Let's play that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a global conspiracy to annoy me.
Yeah.
Me personally. I think they have meetings and they figured out how to annoy me, and that's what they settled on.
They always watch where your phone is, so they can pinpoint where they need to play it.
Exactly, yeah.
since I don't listen to radio, I don't hear Last Christmas all that often. And I only very recently actually learned which one this Last Christmas song actually is. And I've heard it. I don't hate it. I just think it's not very good. And it's not very Christmassy.
Okay, I think the connection is breaking up here. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm losing internet. I'm losing internet.
I'm losing you. No, I don't think the song is very good, and I have a problem with a lot of Christmas songs, especially ones that get repeated over and over again. I absolutely hate the Jingle Bells Rock. I think that's an awful song.
Awful.
I don't know the title of each of these songs, but there are a couple of songs I really, really hate, and I think they're really bad. There are, however, a couple of songs I actually like, and one of those songs is one that you at least can stand a little bit, Greg, and that is Carol of the Bells. It's also part of the soundtrack of Home Alone. And actually, it's not a Christmas song. It's actually a New Year's song, an Ukrainian New Year's song called Shidrik. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I like that. I like what how it goes, how it feels. And there are a couple of more traditional songs I really enjoy if they're made good, like God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. I think it's a wonderful song. Or Deck the Halls, kind of, the Christmas spirit it gives me works if you don't hear it too often.
I mean, I think that's definitely one problem I have with Christmas music is that once they start playing, they play constantly.
Yeah.
And because there are only a couple of halfway decent songs, they get way too much playtime. And I think that's what probably annoys me more than the song itself, just how many times you're supposed to listen to them.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the point. And a lot of these songs, you always hear the same incarnation of that song. If you hear Oh Holy Night, which actually is a very powerful song, if there's an entire choir that sings it, or if the instrumental has kind of makes up for the missing choir. But you always hear that one version by, I don't know, is it Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston? I don't know. But it's just always that one solo, and the song does not work as a solo, at least for me. And the same thing is with Jingle Bells. I don't like Jingle Bells as a song, but what I think is Jingle Bells is a song. It's so simple, and you can just put it into everything. You can just arrange it into everything, and it's suddenly Christmassy. You can have a death metal song, and at one point the death metal song goes dung 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 dung, and you immediately know, it's Christmas. And kudos to that. I mean, not every song manages to do that.
Definitely not. No, definitely not. Yeah.
There are a couple of more modern and less trodden Christmas songs I like. I don't know if you know the band Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
I'm familiar, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they made a couple of Christmas-themed CDs, and some of these arrangements are really, really good. And also the original stuff they made, it's a really great way to listen to it. You could listen to it all year, but I usually reserve it for Christmas season. So I'm part of the problem.
You're part of a lot of problems.
Thank you, Greg.
I mean, that's the holiday spirit.
That's the holiday spirit. So, yeah. But in general, I totally agree with you. I mean, I just don't like most Christmas songs. And in second week of December, I've already had my fill, and I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else we need to add to our little Christmassy discussion today?
Yeah, I think we covered the geeky part of Christmas pretty well.
In our special way.
In our special way, yes. And it's special for a Christmas. There's a lot of special things in a Christmas episode, in a Christmas special like this. like today, we have also had a lot of negativity.
Yeah.
And isn't that what Christmas is all about?
I mean, again, I'm repeating myself. I don't want to come off as the Grinch. And I really like the social aspects of the holiday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could do without most of the other stuff.
Definitely.
But yeah, obviously mean or wish everyone well. And I hope that, especially this year, under these very, very difficult circumstances, people have a nice and enjoyable Christmas. It's definitely going to be a quiet one. Definitely going to be a Christmas to reflect on a year and without too many parties and too much celebrating. But yeah, maybe that's exactly what we need at this point in time, kind of to wind down a little bit. And hopefully 2021 is going to be a lot better than 2020 was.
Yeah. And I mean, that's also part of Christmas, isn't it? Looking back to the year, spending time with your family and kind of winding down and getting ready for the new year before New Year's Eve strikes. So I think, as you said today, or this year, it's even more important to wind down. And even if there are places in the world where you probably cannot visit your loved ones or shouldn't out of health reasons, give them a call. This is what Christmas is about. Talking to people, spending time with them.
Yeah, definitely. Well said. Well said. Okay, so let's wrap it up for this week. This is it. Please like, share, and subscribe to our podcast. We're on all major podcasting services and on www.passionofthegeeks.com. You can send questions and suggestions to passionofthegeeks@gmail.com, and you can find us on Twitter at passionotgeeks.com. And we recently launched our YouTube channel. Just search for Passion of the Geeks and you find all our episodes as YouTube videos as well. So yeah, Pat, this is it. Enjoy your holidays. Every kind of happy holidays to your family as well. I hope you get all the presents you wished for. And to our listeners the same. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.